Hi, everyone. This is the Meet Ashley and Paul episode. I guess it's our interview. We've had some questions about us, who we are, the narrators of the Clariot Noir channel. So, Ash and I have decided to sit down on a Zoom call and spend some time going through the basics, answering a couple of interesting questions received from our viewers.
And from our neighbors too. Obviously, we've got locals who are starting to tune in these days.
Right, so let's get started. Our very first basic question: who are you?
Who am I? My name is Ashley. I'm a phlebotomist in Bridal Veil Lake, and I work at a few of the public labs on rotation. I came to be involved in Clariot Noir after having responded to a posting that was looking for people to read stories online. And because I'm interested in creepy stories and blood and gore and stuff, and honestly, I've got some side hustles going on right now. I just need money so I can feed myself and my pets, pay my rent.
Right. What kind of pets have you got, Ashley?
Yeah, I've got a crested gecko named Sarge, and he's usually hanging out with me while I'm doing my readings. And he's actually on my arm right now. And then I've got a couple guinea pigs, Basil and Rosemary, and then I've got an old boy cat named Percy Jones. It's pretty busy in here.
Okay. And they all get on well?
Yeah, for the most part. I'm lucky that my work is done mostly at home when I'm not drawing people's blood, of course. And so we're all pretty cozy here. It's a really tight apartment. But your turn, Paul. Enough about me. Who are you, and how did you get into this gig?
Oh, hi. I'm Paul. Um, I work a few different jobs to make ends meet. I'm still trying to get a freelance writing career going. I saw a posting for Clariot Noir at the library. I like spooky stories as much as anyone, I guess, and Bridal Veil Lake is full of them. It's a pretty weird town. Honestly, this gig is kind of already a bit more than I bargained for. There's editing work and the reading, of course. I also handle the inbox, and we get, well, there's some strange people out
Yeah. Hopefully, I'm not one of those strange people.
there.
Paul and I have some loose acquaintances going back ages. I
Hmm.
mean, we live in a pretty small town, well, city, I guess, and it's been like forever that we've known each other, but we're a few years apart. And we're in quite different circles, I'd say. Um, but really, I think we're in this together now, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few what the fuck calls where we're in the thick of the fact checking. Well, for me, one of the stories that I'm reading, and I'm trying to come to terms with all this, and I just need
Hmm.
someone who understands what I'm going through. So we know we're getting pretty close.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So number two, who is AP Clariot? And for me, that's the $1 million question.
That answer is pretty straightforward. I don't know. I've never met them in person. Our only interactions have been online. Um, they write the majority of the words and the descriptions that you may or may not read. They do read all the submissions and they pay me. That's about it.
I don't have access to the inbox, and I'm glad that I don't. Clariot forwards me the relevant threads, and I follow up on it. Unless that's you. Is that you, Paul?
Nope. I just know not to action the ones
Mm.
submitted by females.
Oh, okay. Um, I think it's probably important to say that the AP of AP Clariot has no relation to us, Ashley and Paul. Clariot goes by AP Clariot, and it's probably just a coincidence.
Okay. Looks like our next question is, what was it like growing up in Bridal Veil Lake?
I guess I can go first. Um,
Hmm.
I've always been taught to be aware of the shadows, beware of strangers, and just in general not to be places that you shouldn't be. I thought that it was my parents that were just really high anxiety and that I'm a girl. But as I'm interacting with some of you that are sending in their real life scary stories, I'm really glad that I grew up with that ingrained. Like I'd never have walked the sidewalk outside of the scout house, for example, It just wasn't a safe place. And I'm a good girl, so I didn't once try it, like honestly. And I stayed on the other side of the street by the school. And the gorge? Are you fucking kidding me? No way. So I honestly don't know any different. I still live in Bridal Veil Lake and I stayed out of trouble. I I really enjoy hearing all these creepy stories, but I definitely wonder if these people would be having this shit happen to them if they had just had my parents as their own, right?
That's a point. I'm skeptical too, but I do like the criteria, the science. Clarity applies to the stories we get. It kind of keeps out the riffraff. Right. The question is about growing up here. Stressful, I guess I'd say. I don't have anything to compare it to really. Money was an object in my house, and my parents were constantly laid off. They used to work at the auto plant. Obviously, that folded up. We didn't live in the greatest neighborhood. Actually, when I first heard the Ferry Street stories, it did make me think of my old street. Right. Let's move on. So, number three, do we have any scary stories of our own? I'll go first this time. I did not have Ashley's parents, and she's right. I've seen and experienced a lot of weird stuff. Um, Humans are scarier than ghosts and demons. I'm a skeptic about all that stuff. To date, I've been stabbed, threatened with a loaded gun, force fed poisonous nightshade, and been involuntarily inducted into the underground community on Tour Hill. Yeah, so I mean, I've got stories, sure. I just don't think they're paranormal. More likely drug induced, more likely.
Did you say stabbed? Are you kidding me?
uh, no. Unfortunately, no.
Ah, shit.
Moving on. Number four. Where do you live now? I'll go first again. I live about 3 blocks away from where I grew up. Yeah, Bridal Veil Lake for life. Um, I escaped briefly to Hamilton for university, and I came back. I'm stuck.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, the lake is fucking gorgeous. And the city is, I mean, it's right by the US border. So there's like shopping and whatever. There's lots of colleges around here, and it's pretty cheap to live here, which is good for me. Um, I haven't been driven out yet. I maybe soon from all these stories, but I do plan to move down Toronto way when I've saved up enough money. But you know, for now, it's all right here. It's good.
uh, One person's driven out. I feel trapped. Okay. Number five. Are the stories true? How are they selected? And what stories are rejected?
Okay, Paul, this one's all you.
Okay, no problem. So are the stories true? Maybe? I don't actually know. Uh, Clariot selects the stories most of the time. They, it's the pronoun they prefer, claim to use a criteria of scientific information, which is the 10 Reasons Your House is Haunted video. I read that one, but it was written by Clariot. Part of my job is to sift through emails and draw attention to the ones I think might be approved based on those 10 criteria.
Mm. In my own experience connecting with the submitters, they seem to believe in the stories.
Mm.
And whether that makes them factually accurate or just whether that makes them factually accurate, I can't say accurate right now.
That's okay.
That's too
It's
many
okay.
drinks. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Or just true to those people who witness the events. It's really hard for me to gather, and I don't think I'm the person to do that. But I do think it's interesting that the submitters are all types of people. So we've got children's stories, and we've got women and men of all ages, and then even that not Karanzan story that I just did last week, we have that. It's a journal dating back to the 1920s
Mm-hmm.
with something. So this spans decades. So are they all related? Possibly not, but Clariot seems to think that they could be. So interesting.
Yeah. Uh, moving on. I'll uh, I'll keep my
What?
opinion out of it.
Okay.
Sure, sure. Number six. Why do you act out the stories? Why not just read them?
Okay, I might be the best one for this. Okay. I Everyone should know that I definitely do try my best to embody the submitter as the narrator. And I do a dramatic reading. I'm very guilty for that. But Clariot instructed me to do that, to engage the listeners, that they join into the community and share experience with us. And I've actually met up with a couple of the women whose stories I read,
Mm.
either over the phone or for coffee or whatever, just to get a feel for who they were. And it gives me the opportunity to ask questions. And I think for Clariot and for me as well, that community is really important. How can I best support Clariot to get to the bottom of this if I can't support an open dialogue? So, okay, I'm going to admit that sometimes you get a bit of old Ashley in there because I am no actor. I'm a noob. So please bear with me.
I'm also a noob. I admit it freely as well. I try to read clearly, and sometimes I get a little lost in the stories. Which, if you've been keeping up, range from weird to just batshit crazy. I don't meet anyone or talk on the phone even with strangers because I think it's dangerous. Ashley probably shouldn't do it. Uh, Clariot told us to be honest for this interview, so I'll be clear when I say I don't care about this investigation they refer to, the threat of madness. It's all pretty vague and confusing to me. Okay, I mean, yeah, I'm here to do a job. I'll do it the best that I can. Again, not a professional actor. Here for the money.
Okay, okay. We've already established that I'm also here for the money, but I gotta say, like, I'm really here for the community. I feel like I'm like a creepy story reporter. Like I'm like beat on the street. Everyone's been very welcoming to me so far. And I even got fresh baked shortbread, Paul. Shortbread. And it was it was delicious.
I didn't get any shortbread. That's me. But if I did get shortbread, I imagined it. Yeah, I couldn't eat it because I feel like somebody would poison me. And that's just me. So, sorry, moving on. Question seven. The stories you get are often written like a narrative, too. So, do you only select stories written that way?
Oh, no, no, no. So I get the female ones, and that's, point blank, that's where that comes from. That's how I get them. I have no idea how the stories are selected, but from the women submitters that I've chatted with, the story that I was given was what they had provided. Like
Mm,
same format, same details, more or less the same structure. And I personally made a few minor edits just for flow so that I could understand how to read it better. But
hmm
I don't know, is that the same for you, Paul?
yeah, yeah, pretty much. I mean, I edit some grammar, and I do email back and forth with submitters for clarification sometimes, if they are responsive. AP, or Clariot, seems to prefer the narrative style. I'm not really sure why it matters. Um, okay, next question here. Here's a more specific viewer question that we got. What is the vision in quotation marks referred to in the descriptions of some of the videos? I don't know. Again, I'm not sure about this. Clariot mentions it sometimes to us in relation to a manuscript they wrote. I haven't seen it. Apparently, it was published somewhere online at one point, but has since been taken down. Any input there, Ashley?
No, you seem to be more involved than I am.
I involuntarily, I will tell you. Right.
I'm involved in the community, and you're involved with Clarion, it seems like.
Okay, right. So moving on to the next question. What is the real goal of this project? What is the thread of madness? I feel like this is very related to question eight. And again, any guess is as good as mine. It's pretty clear that Clariot has experienced something weird or thinks they have. Instead of seeking out a mental health expert for advice, they believe there's a sinister force in Bridal Veil Lake, or maybe several such forces. I know I'm talking about my employer, but again, they told us to be honest, and that's what I'm doing. That being said, it's easy to see similarities in people's accounts. Is it evidence of evil lurking beneath the surface of an already dirty tourist trap that wears its debauchery openly? I don't think so.
How much wine have you had, Paul?
Enough for this interview. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, okay. I think you're right. It is about sanity. I think that Clariot thinks sanity is made up of a set of shared beliefs, which people deem are normal. And of course, any therapist would say, there's positive and negative thoughts. And I'm not a therapist, but I think for me, Clariot is attempting to do the same for insanity. So create a shared belief system for insanity, specifically in Bridal Veil Lake, even. And I think, I don't know if you agree with this, but Clariot is trying to bring to light what happened maybe to themselves based on the frightening experiences of other people in this town. And that doesn't sound crazy to me, but I mean, I think that we all seek similar minds for validation when we're going through something, just like you and I.
Yeah, okay. I think that's a nice idea. Um, but we don't really know for sure that's what, AP Clariot wants, right?
Yeah, but maybe you're over speculating too.
Okay, sure.
Uh,
Interview over now, right?
Yeah, I think that's all the questions for now, but I mean, bye. I mean, keep them coming, everyone. Questions, stories, all that. We're happy to hear it. Thank you so much for listening.